This is such a fascinating subject. We all absolutely love the film. It's so gripping because dealing with the Second World War is something that we're used to seeing portrayed in films, but not in this way.
Yeah.
Give us a brief outline of the plot of the story.
Well, it's Polly, who wrote it and directed it,
Yeah.
was in a bookshop and this book fell out and she picked it up and on the cover was a picture of this child and the story centres around this woman called Helga Schneider who, at 4 years old, was a little German girl living in Berlin with her mum and her baby brother. And the father was away fighting for the Germans in the war. And one day her mother leaves her, walks out of the flat, and she never sees her again until many decades later.
That scene, I have to say, was just, it made me cry.
Did it?
And she just leaves her.
Yeah.
Don't make this difficult for me.
And she never knew why her mother left. And much, much later, she goes back and she discovers that her mother was, in fact, a very dedicated Nazi, and she went off to work in Auschwitz and other concentration camps as an SS camp officer. So much, much later, in her middle to late, years, she goes finally to find this mother that she never really had. And so it's about lots of things, but it's a lot to do with mothers and daughters. And then she, by that time, she herself has a daughter.
Yeah.
So when she did find her mother, who was then very old, her mother was completely unrepentant.
Yeah.
I mean, she was still mouthing Nazi propaganda.
Wanting to wear the jacket.
And wanting her to wear this jacket. She still had her old SS... So, how do you begin to cope with that legacy, of having...
I mean, there are family secrets and then there are family secrets. And that is, something just... And it is a brilliant movie because it is about the relationship and what do you carry on through your own life as a result of what your relatives have or haven't done.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think one of the really brilliant things they did... In real life, Helga Schneider, who is a remarkably lovely, warm, kind, generous woman...
You met her, didn't you?
I met her when we were filming in Vienna, and I was expecting probably to meet somebody quite difficult. She'd had this awful life experience and so on. In fact, not at all. She's a really lovely, warm and delightful woman. So she's made an extraordinary journey with her life. But in the film, they did a brilliant thing. I think Polly gave, instead of a son in real life, she gave Helga a daughter who in turn has had her own daughter.
Okay.
So you look at the knock-on effect of that sort of experience through 3 generations on, and that makes it a much bigger story in a way, and a much more resonant one, because you see how both the damage is passed on because her relationship with her daughter is pretty bad, but it's sort of redeemed by the granddaughter who she adores and who she can make a relationship with. And I think that's, a lot of people have very close relationships with their grands, don't they, or their grandfathers, and sometimes can sort of work at healing the difficulties in a relationship with their own parents.
But also, how brilliant is Karen Bertling as Trowdy, the grandmother? I mean, she just is chilling, chilling.
You watch some scenes and you just think, I can't believe that this ever happened in real life. You honestly can't believe the stories.
But